Okay, the Trump 20% vague proposal of a tariff in order to get Mexico to sort of de facto pay for the Mexican wall is an absolute and total disaster. We have this proposed 20% tariff on the import of all goods from Mexico to pay for the wall. Mexico-U.S. trade is no small thing. Some right-wingers think it doesn't matter what we do with Mexican trade because it's not big. It's actually huge. It would have a major impact on the American economy if it was disrupted. The U.S.'s third biggest trading partner is Mexico, 1.4 billion two-way trade daily. Common goods produced, produce, cars, vehicle parts, computers, machines, avocados falls under produce, something that could escalate in price significantly if we start a trade war with Mexico. And this was after both Donald Trump and the Mexican president, Nieto, pulled out of a meeting because the Mexican president said that Mexico's just not going to pay for the wall, and then the meeting was canceled. When that happened, I was wondering, Pat, if Trump has been campaigning about what a great negotiator and deal maker he is, why would you bail on the meeting with the Mexican president when they say they wouldn't pay for the wall? Show up and negotiate. He says he's this great negotiator. Don't cancel the meeting. Show up and prove how great of a negotiator he is.
Yeah, I'd imagine the first step of reaching a deal would have to be getting those two people in the same room.
Right.
I guess he could justify, well, I can put it off till later, but chop, we got to pay for this.
So this has obviously strained U.S.-Mexico relations. It violates NAFTA. Fine. Trump says he's going to renegotiate or pull out of NAFTA. Hasn't happened yet. And basic economics, the most basic economics, tells us that U.S. consumers and companies are going to be mostly affected by the consequences of this tariff, especially in American border states, U.S. companies that have factories on both sides of the border. Large amounts of goods imported from Mexico come from goods originating in the United States. So this threatens trade that is crucial to our American manufacturing companies, and including industries that Trump says he wants to help, the automobile industry, manufacturing of all sorts, et cetera. This will actually hurt U.S. global competitiveness, and it will also hurt jobs, and it will also allow China to come in and win again even more, which is what Donald Trump said he would stop as president of the United States. The other issue is that Mexico could respond with its own tariffs. It could respond with boycotts of American companies, which are happening. And John McCain, Republican senator from Arizona, still somehow, ironically, the voice of reason, saying, quote, the free flow of trade has been the foundation of U.S. economic policy for decades and a major factor in prosperity and greatness. And then we also have Senator Lindsey Graham, who said, quote, simply put, any policy proposal which drives up costs of Corona, tequila, or margaritas is a big time bad idea, mucho sad. Of course, sort of a joke, but it actually does get at the problem here. Not only are prices going to be driven up, which is bad, again, not so much for the rich, but for the lower and middle income people. If avocados go up in price 20%, rich people aren't really going to be affected. Lower and middle income people are going to be affected. There's also a Mexican food activist group that is saying, that's it, we're boycotting McDonald's, Walmart, Coca-Cola, Starbucks. And yes, not only are those companies employing people at their home offices in the U.S., I know that they also employ Mexican workers. That's more of a reason as to why these so-called trade war policies can be so unpredictable, because we have a global economy.
We're in a very bad position. I mean, best case scenario is that the cost of the wall gets put on the U.S. taxpayers and their consumers. The worst case scenario is a trade war, and this is all to support a wall that's really just not popular among the American public.
Not popular, and also would not be effective. It's, again, as I said last week, solutions that don't work for problems that don't exist. A lot of people emailed me, and they kind of like that. I do see it as the sort of motto, the de facto motto of the Trump administration.